VS Code lets you change the key bindings for just about any action in the editor. To do this, I'm going to open up the keyboard shortcuts editor using the command palette. So Control-Shift-P or Command-Shift-P, and then say keyboard. And we want the preferences open keyboard shortcuts command here. Now, here in this keyboard shortcuts editor, you can actually see a list of all the commands, which are the actions you can perform, their current key binding, and then some additional information. So the when clause here is actually saying when this command would be active. And you can just browse through and you can see that there's a whole lot of commands that you can bind. If you're wanting to find something specific, such as find, for example, you can see all the commands related to find just by typing in the search box up here, and it's highlighting where the command name matches that. You can also search by existing key binding. So say I wanted to search for command D. You can actually just type in the key binding and then it will highlight the key binding here. Now, once you find the command that you want to rebind, so this add selection to next find match, which creates multiple cursors, for example, we can just click on the little pencil icon here and then enter a new key binding for this. So say that I wanted to bind this to something different, such as Command-Shift-D instead of just Command-D. I can just press the keys here. So I'll say Command-Shift-D. And now it's warning us that there's already a key binding for that, but that's okay. So I'm just going to press enter. And now we've gone and successfully rebound things. You'll notice that when I did this, the source has actually changed from default to user, so we can identify this. Now, if I go back to my gulp file, make a selection, I can use my new key binding. So Command-Shift-D. Now I can just go through and create multiple cursors using the new key binding. Now, if we find that we don't like this key binding though, we can just right click on the entry and then say reset key binding. And now it's back to the original. We can also unbind a key binding and get rid of it completely by going and right clicking and saying remove key binding. And now we've completely unbound that. So as I said, you can rebind pretty much any command in VS Code, and if you're wanting even more granular control, you can actually open up the JSON file to edit the keyboard shortcuts directly by clicking on this little icon here, and then you can enter and edit the keyboard shortcuts. So here you can see the key binding we just removed here, and we could go and edit this and edit the when clause and do other things here. So if you're really wanting some more advanced features, you can also go and learn how the Keybindings JSON file works. So that's the keyboard shortcuts editor in VS Code. It's really powerful as it lets you customize the VS Code experience with pretty much any key bindings you want.